So today we have Adriana. She is the Agent Service Coordinator and Center Tech Trainer for Keller Williams Sunset Corridor, and she helps oversee the rest for the network. She earned her bachelor's degree in business communication from the University of California, San Diego, along with a digital marketing certificate from their Extended Studies division. Before joining Keller Williams, Adriana worked as an escrow assistant in Los Angeles County for 2 years. She is passionate about technology, marketing, and helping agents grow their business presence online. Outside of KW, Adriana enjoys volunteering with Girl Scouts, attending concerts, and traveling to new places. So she is going to be teaching us our capturing leads with social media. I will go ahead and email you the student manual for today so that you all have that in front of you. Evelyn, will you put your email in the chat so I can make sure that I have that, and then I'll jump off and let her get started. Are you going, Adriana? We can't hear you if you are.
Oh, are we ready?
Yep, you're
perfect. So yeah, today we're gonna go over how to capture leads with social media. And if you've been following along, slide here. The last one you attended would have been the capture leads with open houses class. So this is gonna kind of follow along in the same way that we're gonna learn how to capture leads. But this time it's gonna be with social media. So if it is your first Ignite class, welcome. If not, welcome back. But today we're going to capture or go over how to capture more leads through these different strategies. So today we're going to go over how to employ the 10-5-1 engagement system. Then we're going to go over posting practice. So just like general, guidelines on how to best post on social media. We're also going to talk about social media strategies in general. Then we're going to go do quick recap, ahas over what we learned. So before we start today's class, I kind of want to go over maybe some questions or topics that you guys are interested in learning more about in regards to social media. Maybe like 2 or 3 people want to share.
Are you just saying like how we've done it so far, or just if we have questions about it?
Yeah, like if you have done it, have you come up on any questions you have, or if you haven't, maybe things in particular you're interested in learning more about?
Oh, like, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, it's always such a loaded question, social media and how to post right in your communities, and when you have other people kind of posting similar things. That's something I had to encounter last week, and I've had to switch gears just because something that I had intended to do was very similar to something that someone else did locally, and it's been a rewind and start all over again so you don't look like you're copying. So that's always interesting. So maybe that's a good question, like what do you do when someone posts something similar? How do you counter that without it looking like crappy competition versus just doing your own thing?
Okay.
Statistically, what's the most effective form of advertising? That's kind of what I'm curious in.
Okay. We'll definitely try to touch on those as we go through. And yeah, so with that, I also want to go over real quick, what social media platforms are you guys already using and kind of familiar with?
I'm just using Facebook.
Okay. Or we're all just using Facebook?
Yeah.
Any Instagram? No, not even. Okay. Well, we have
Sorry, I
opportunity.
didn't realize I was muted.
Yeah. What were you gonna say?
So sorry, I'm on both of them.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was gonna say there's definitely opportunity there because it's actually really easy to post on both Facebook and Instagram, just because they're both a part of what's called Meta. So you can actually post on both platforms just by like posting on one. So it'll give you the option, like if you're on Instagram, there's an option to post to Facebook too. So that's one thing maybe you might want to look into. But we're going to talk again in general about all different types of platforms, and let's get into it. So can I have a volunteer that wants to read our quote of the day?
It takes time to learn something, more time to implement it, and even longer to approach mastery of it.
Thank you.
So true.
So as we begin this process, what are some of the questions you have about the learning, implementing, and mastering of a subject? What does this quote mean to you, basically?
It seems to take a lot of time to learn it. And then I feel like I stumble with the mastering of it. So I mean, that's just kind of what I am feeling like. I think that like I was with Place and they made it really easy to post open house forms and stuff like that, videos. So those were really easy, but I haven't learned this new system, so.
Oh, yeah. I think that's totally true. It's something that, take into account if it's a new skill you're learning, don't get discouraged if like right off the bat, you're not like amazing at it. It takes time to, learn that skill, develop it, and also kind of, I think, like put your voice into it. You want to make it suitable to who you are as a person, who you are as an agent. Kind of like Emily says, you don't want to copy everyone like right off the bat. You want to make it your own. So it's something that is going to take time, and that's why we're here to help you. So like Mara said, I'm part of the Market Center leadership team, and that's literally what we're here to do, help you guys, help grow your business and support you along the way. So you're not at it alone. You have us, you have Mara, you have each other. Just take your time, learn the things, and eventually it'll come to you.
Quick question on like what I'm trying to design right now. Are you the best person, or even Mara, if I wanted to say, hey, this is what I'm thinking, can you critique it for me? And I mean, it's hard to open yourself up to criticism, but it's exactly what we need to do right now is learn. So is that something that we could send to you for pointers or just corrections?
Yeah, definitely Mara, just because she's your guys' coach. I would say for me too, yeah, if you want to add me in there, I'd love to do like a meeting or something. We can go over any like techniques or things you want to talk about. But I would go to Mara first just because she's like your coach.
Awesome. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next slide. Okay. So before we really get into it, I do want to go over a little compliance tidbit real quick. It's important to know that even with social media, if you're conducting lead generation, agents must reference your Market Center doing business as me, not Keller Williams generically in your social and written media. This reinforces that you're independent contractors affiliated with your Keller Williams Market Center. So that basically just means if you're part of Sunset Corridor, for example, making sure you're using the KW Sunset Corridor logo. So making sure you're using the logo. And Command actually makes that really easy for you too as well, because you can upload the logo and then just have it added to any of your social posts. That's just like a quick little tidbit I like to put in. But now that that's over, we're gonna actually start. So we're gonna start off with the 10-5-1 engagement system. You guys already kind of started going into this, I don't know what it's about yet. Where are we at? How do we feel? All right. Well, we're going to go over it anyways. So it's basically going to be 10, actually, but Sorry, I lost my spot here. Here we go. 10 likes or loves. So it's gonna start off with 10, like a 10-5-1. And it's basically going to be how many posts should you like per day. They make it easy and they just give you a number of 10, just to kind of start out with. And it's something that you probably are already doing anyways. You don't even realize it. Chances are you're probably liking more than others. If you're just kind of like scrolling through, I guess Facebook, a lot of us use Facebook. You're probably liking or thumbs upping like all those reaction things. And it's something, even if you're not doing, it's very quick and easy to start doing. So it's a really good first step. And it kind of goes with, social media is a fantastic tool. It's free to use, especially when it comes to marketing and prospecting. And it's important to be active on your social media platform of choice, because that's what's going to help you get your name out there, get your brand out there, and hopefully help generate your new business. So regardless of what platform you're on, this is something that's very easy to do on any single platform. So question, how does interacting with others on social media help build your business?
I know for me that the more that I react to people's posts, then I start to see more of their posts. So I'm assuming that all has to do with the algorithm. So the more you're out there, the more it's spreading out your information to others' feeds as well.
That is definitely an algorithm thing. If they see that you're interacting with posts, like you said, it's going to show up more often. But the other thing too is it's also going to help your posts, your profiles show up more often on other people's feeds as well. Because it's one of those things where social media, they're all companies, they're all algorithms, and they reward the people using their platforms by helping them as well. So it's one of those things, yeah, you want to be active on your platform of choice. I also kind of broke it down into 4 different ways that it helps promote your brand and build it for you. First off is going to be brand awareness. So in real estate, as a real estate agent, essentially you are your own brand. You are kind of in a way selling your services and like who you are as a person, because people want to work with people they like. It's also going to help with your event awareness. So if you have a upcoming buyer class, or maybe you're doing a client appreciation, and you want to share that, whether it's inviting people through social media or even posting like pictures or videos of how the event went. It's helping show that you're doing business, you're doing the things. It's also good for advertising. So maybe listing or an open house that's coming up. Social media is a great place to put that out there. That way people can see and share. And then also attracting new buyers and listings. So kind of like the listing open house thing. If people see your profile and they like the things you're posting and they feel like, hey, this is someone get to know, chances are they're going to want to reach out to you and maybe get in business with you. It's good to kind of, find those commonalities that you have with potential buyers and sellers and build off of those. So you want to be posting things that maybe someone will find they have a similar interest with you, or you have similar lifestyles or backgrounds. And the other thing that makes it a plus as well is someone finds you off social media and they like kind of like the vibe you're giving off. Chances are you're probably going to get along, and it's going to be a lot easier of a transaction than someone who doesn't have a lot of interest. For the next part of the 10-5-1, we have our 5 comments. So kind of the same, but instead of 10 likes, we're going to do 5 comments there. So it doesn't have to be like a whole essay or anything. Somebody's post. It could be just a few words, encouragement, congratulations, or even like a positive quote or something. But it's good to just spread positivity and optimism and encourage other people. because that's what we want to see from others in our posts. So why would we start off and do that first? It's also really easy to overthink, maybe like what you want to type out, what kind of caption you or comment you want to leave somebody. So it's important to kind of think of just how you would respond normally. Just think of who you are as a person, the kind of tone of voice you come off as. If you're someone who uses a lot of emojis, do that. If you're someone just very happy and positive and excited in general, exclamation marks, things like that. But it's good because it'll help, again, reinforce that brand and, you know, voice that you're trying to tell through your platform already. I also want to point out that, you know, kind of think before you if it's not nice or helpful or encouraging, you know, maybe don't comment. You got to be aware of your digital footprint and how it can affect you and your business, you know, later on, in both good and bad ways. This goes for both public and private comments. So don't just assume just because, hey, I'm going to send a private message to this person. Don't assume that it won't ever go public, because, you know, once it's online, it's out there. People can always screenshot through things like that. So just be very aware of the things you're posting, and just kind of think if it's not nice or helpful, maybe it doesn't need to be out there. That's a really easy guideline. I also wanted to ask, what's a comment you guys have received on social media, like a post recently, that made you feel heard or seen?
Can you repeat the question? It was kind of hard to hear what you said.
What's a comment you received on social media post recently that made you feel heard or seen?
Oh, gotcha. I post stuff about my kids a lot, so they're always commenting on things like that. So it's not me directly, but it still makes me proud that they're doing what they're doing. So again, but not me.
An extension of you. So, yeah, it's a great example. Does anyone have an example of maybe a comment that they've posted or that you've posted that, you know, was encouraging for somebody else?
I got a badge for reposting for a medical facility in our community. And so I posted that badge.
Cool. And that made you feel good too, being recognized, right?
Well, it's really cool because there's a lot of people in that community, in that medical community.
Yeah. That's a great example too. Okay, so now we got our 10 likes, we got our 5 comments. Last part of the 10-5-1 is going to be 1 share, direct message, or original post. So this is to get people thinking about you. This could be, again, like 1 post that you take a picture and you upload it yourself. It could be sharing somebody else's post. I know a lot of people do that on like the Instagram and Facebook stories, or even, again, just direct messages, sending someone a private message off the main public. When you share someone else's post, for example, things like community activities, fundraisers, quotes, think about, again, you know, your brand and that uniqueness that you want to bring into somebody else's feed, because they could have got this post on their own already if they're following this. But if you add like a little caption or like an extra bit of information, someone might really find that valuable. And again, it doesn't have to be hard. In digital marketing, there's actually a term called UGC, that stands for user generated content. And it's kind of a way that brands share their followers' content. So you probably see this a lot and you don't even realize it. Things like, I know like influencer marketing is a really big thing. And that's a form of user generated content where brands have somebody else promote a product or a picture of it, and then they upload it on their own public page. Then the brand goes and shares that post on their page. So essentially, the brand isn't taking the photo themselves or thinking of the content themselves. This influencer is the one doing it. So that's something that you could do in your own business. And maybe do like a giveaway, for example. If you have something to do a raffle, that's something that somebody wants. I think one of our agents does. I've seen her do. She raffles off like the Yeti cooler, and people will take a picture, and she has like a hashtag, and at the end she'll go through all the hashtags and randomly pick a person. So that helps her database basically. If she gets her message out to her database, hey, if you post a picture with my hashtag, you'll be entered into this raffle. So now all of the people that are posting that hashtag, chances are you're going to be like, oh, what is this? Like, I want to know what that is. You're going to click on it. Or it has her real estate name and her at sign. So it's already, she's tagged in the photo itself as well. That's already going to promote you with so many other people. And again, as always, be compliant. So if you have any questions about like raffles, contests, things like that, you can always ask our broker team. Mara is also a great resource, of course. But it doesn't have to be like you're posting a brand new post every single day. It doesn't have to be that. It's good to share other people's posts as well, because it also brings them joy. If you saw somebody else post something of yours, that means to them it was valuable. So just think of it that way. You're helping make somebody else's day too if you're sharing posts. And then we also have the direct message or private message, which is another good way to show that you care. So maybe you have someone whose birthday's coming, and even if you see them post publicly that it's their birthday and everyone's commenting on there, sometimes I don't even like to, like if there's someone really close to me or that like I haven't reached out to in a while, instead of posting on their public post and saying, oh, happy birthday, I'll probably like that post, and then I'll go and I'll send them a private message or a DM and just be like, hey, like happy birthday, and the little birthday message, all of that. And I don't think anyone's ever not replied back to me when I do that. So it's always like a good way to show that you're willing to take that extra step, even if it's an extra like click or something. For some reason, it feels so much more impactful to get that individual message than to just see it on that wall of everyone's public posts. And it could even be something like, it doesn't have to be birthday, it could be if any celebration really, or maybe maybe they're an artist and they posted like a picture of this new painting that we just did. Still, again, you could always send like a private message and just be like, hey, this is super great. Are you selling anything? So, and maybe I have someone that would be interested. But just taking the opportunity again to do that one-on-one interaction, because it just feels a lot more special, a lot more important than when everything's always out. So we're going to go into, on the next part, how to make sure we follow the 80-20 rule when it comes to our original posts. But before that, do we have any quick ahas over what we've gone over so far? Anything new?
Mine is we're gonna have to learn painfully and slowly what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, a bit of it is definitely like a trial and error type of thing. I mean, you never know. You could go viral one day. Everything just blows up. But yeah, it's good. It's definitely one of those you kind of have to be consistent and build it up over time. So if people see you active on social media, eventually they'll get used to it. They'll get used to seeing you. They'll start expecting like, oh, like I know, like Lane, for example, he posts like every Monday, he posts like an open house that he's doing later in the week. Even if I have no intention of going to an open house, if I'm already like used to seeing that post, I'm gonna be like, oh, I wonder what house he's opening this week. So just things like that. It's kind of like almost like your little like show. Keep people on a schedule, let them know what's coming up. So we kind of went over the 10-5-1. Next, we're going to go into posting practice. Before we go over that real quick, 80/20, are you guys familiar with that already? A little bit? We've heard of it? Okay. We'll get into a little bit more now. But basically, it's that in the social media sense, we want 80% of our posts to be something other than real estate. Meaning only 1 out of every 5 posts should be real estate specific. And someone tell me why we think that is important.
You said it before, we're kind of selling ourselves, so the more personal we keep it, maybe the better. We're not always just shoving real estate down their throats, but they remember that who we are personally.
Great. Alexander, you say something?
Yeah, I was gonna say something, but I don't know. I guess yeah, we want it to be more personal and not always just like Emily said, pushing the real estate on everybody all the time. Just be like, hey, it's hot today, I'm eating ice cream.
Yep, you guys got it. You want to create authenticity. You know, you're more than just your business. You're a human, you're a person. You don't want to come off overly salesy and just, again, pure real estate. You know, buying and selling a house is a huge life milestone. And they want to work with somebody that they can trust has their best interests in mind. It's also going to help you generate more authentic, so hopefully motivated clients if they see that they have a lot of similarities with you. And it's also, again, one of those things that even if you're posting a picture of you going to an ice cream shop today, it's a hot day, that's still going to pop up on there. It's still going to make them think. And if you are still doing, you know, your real estate posts every so often, hopefully they know you're real estate. And when they see you pop up, maybe it just so happens that they're already, oh, it's a hot day. I would love a pool. Hey, Alexander's talking about ice cream. I know he's a real estate agent. Why don't I just talk to him? So it's something like that too. Like it doesn't have to be real estate posts in order for people to be something just in that. Let's go to the next slide. So here we have 80/20. So we want to do 80% personal posts with business posts. That way, it's kind of like mostly about you and your interests, who you are. Post about your travel. If you have any food spots. I know a lot of like new businesses or common ones or ones that you really love going to want to. Maybe you're like an avid hiker and you like hiking or you like fishing, some kind of hobby. I think those are always really great posts to put out as well because it shows, again, who you are as a person, but it shows, you know, what you're genuinely interested in. And you might even find like a niche through that. Like I don't know anything about fishing, but I have some friends who do, and apparently it's like a huge thing. It's like a huge community. So, you know, you never know where you find yourself. It's always important to, again, create a unique perspective and experience with your posts. You want to kind of give people almost a glimpse into your life and who you are. And it makes things a lot easier too, especially if in today's day and age, if someone finds a name or they find a website or even if you hand them a business card, like you're out and about, chances are they're going to go home and they're going to Google it. So if you have a social media profile already set up and you have posts with your interests and the things you do, it's going to give them a lot easier of a decision to, hey, do I kind of want to align myself with this person and work with this person? And if so, we can just reach out to them. It makes it really easy. There's also in the participant guide, there should be, I believe that's page 8.6. There should be a kind of spot there to make a list of up to 5 things that you're passionate about. I kind of use those interests as almost like a doorway into what your real estate brand is, who you are, what you want to share. It kind of made me think back to earlier in this course when you guys we brainstormed, your social media brand or niche that you want to go into. And then once you have that, it's a lot easier to figure out what types of personal posts are you going to make and put out or share. So do we want time to make our list of 5? I know some of us are kind of out, so I don't know if we want to write down. We can also share. Do we want to share one, maybe from each person, an interest that you have?
Well, we have a lavender festival here, so I'm trying to get information on it so I can post that because I think there's a lot of followers in that department.
That sounds super fun. I think always like the big flower festivals are always like a big deal. So that would be definitely a good one to post about.
Can you remind me what the question was? Sorry, I'm in my truck. It's a little bit hard to hear. My power's out at home.
Oh no. All right, yeah.
It's really hard to hear.
Okay. Maybe I don't know if my mic's bad. Maybe my mic's dying out. I'm sorry. But just one interest you have that you could potentially make a post about.
I would say for me, anything sports related. Like right now, I'm coaching baseball, so maybe I'd make, a post for the kids' game coming up or something along those lines.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Especially if it's something, you're coaching and you're really involved with. I think definitely
Yeah.
want to put stuff on that.
And I need to be better in all aspects about posting in general on my social media. So I think that's somewhere I can be better for sure.
Me too. I don't post a lot, but sometimes I'm like, well, maybe I should. Does anyone else want to share? Just one.
Like I said, my kids do a lot of livestock, so I'm always posting things about animals or 4-H or something like that related.
Wow. See, like I already learned so much about you guys just by you telling me your one interest. So I can go over to, I do have a list of 5. So I'll just share it real quick, but mine, I put travel, I put concerts, I put Girl Scouts, my cats, and also astrology. So that hopefully just reading that list off already kind of tells you a little bit about who I am as a person. And it only, again, reinforces and makes it that much more apparent when you actually post a picture and you write that caption about it. It really shows people, what you're passionate about, what you're interested in. And again, where you spend your time. And it feels like, it gives people that chance to feel like they actually know you or want to get to know. So with that, we're going to go to a little more of a deep dive on the 80% part of the 80-20 rule. Oh, just kidding. We already did this. I just didn't flip the slide, but this is what we went over. We want to do the 80% personal posts. So here's some more examples. We talked about sports, maybe like outdoor adventures, the Lavender Festival. We talked about animals. So whether it's livestock or if you have pets, again, just getting content out there. So now actually we can talk about the 20. The 20%, it's going to be the real estate business side of posts. So this could be anything from like self-promotion. So just saying, hey, I'm a newly licensed realtor, and yeah, if you know anyone or have any questions, like just let me know, that sort of thing. It could be about maybe like your upcoming events. It could be if you have that listing, again, an open house, that sort of thing.
What
even
about listing like other people's, I'm sorry,
No, no, go ahead.
what about listing like people's, sorry, speaking of animals, I just got 2 dogs invaded by 2 dogs. So anyways, like if I posted something from somebody in Washington and I'm in Oregon, is that okay? Because people travel and I figure they are wanting to, you know, if they're moving to Washington, they might like it or see it.
Mhm.
So it might serve a purpose.
Yeah, I know with posting other agents' posts, definitely, I think it's always like a really good thing to do, especially if you don't have many listings of your own, just because it makes it look like you're doing things, that you're involved with the business. I would, with reposting, maybe just make sure to ask the agent, because sometimes some agents might be like a little picky if they want it shared on other posts or not, or if they just want you kind of directing people to their post. So maybe just like as a courtesy, kind of reach out and be like, hey, can I repost your listing post? But yeah, I think that's totally great idea. And even if you don't have your Washington license, that's still an opportunity for you to reach out and have like a referral with somebody. You know, find an agent in Washington, whether it's the one that has that listing or somebody else you know that has a Washington license. So great question.
In terms of marketing listings, like you said, that aren't yours, can that be interagency too, or does it have to stay within the agency?
That's probably a Mara question, just because I don't know too much about like the compliance thing on that. I think I want to say it's fine, like if it's somebody outside of the brokerage, but again, just, you know, confirm with her. I know the big thing is that if you do share a listing of somebody else and it is like a graphic that you create, you want to have something on there that says the actual listing agent's name. So like listing by so-and-so. You don't want to claim it as your listing because it's not.
Great.
All great questions. So you guys are already thinking about it. You're already kind of, you know, in it, starting to go through it. So that's good. How about let's think of another type of business post that we could create. So who has an idea for a real estate business post?
I did one for our local farm. I mean, it's like we have a local farm that has locally made stuff, but it also has like landscaping products. So that kind of has to do with homes. So I don't know if that goes in that category.
Kind of, maybe. When we talk about maybe like land, if you're interested in like helping sell land, or like, hey, I can help you find a piece of land to, I don't know, use these products. Does anyone else want to share another one? Oh, in the chat. See, Emily listed a for sale by owner in our local page from your business page. Yeah, that's a good example. And see, we're using that repost instead of just doing like a brand new original post. Cool. I also wrote down a few ideas. The first one is one very specific to Keller Williams. I think Red Day is a really good one to use. It's kind of almost like a twofer where it has a little bit of business, but also like community service. If you guys aren't familiar with Red Day, it's basically Keller Williams' annual day of giving back to our communities, an annual day of service. So basically all of our market centers close and all leadership and agents go out to do a service project. So I always think that's a really good one because it's promoting, you know, your brokerage, promoting KW, it's promoting you going out and physically helping your community in a very direct and obvious way. And it's a great way to just have content also to post. And it shows people that you actually want to give back in the community that you serve. I've also seen a few, I don't know if you've seen those like day in the life of like a certain career path or something. But I think like a day in the life of a realtor one would be like super fun. Because a lot of people don't know what you guys actually do on a day-to-day basis. You know, some people have that idea in their heads that like, oh, my agent probably just like sits around, stops working at like 2 p.m. and then closes the house. Like so easy, right? But you know, so just doing those like little inside, almost like an inside scoop into what you do. Even if it's something that you think is really boring, like sitting on an inspection, for example. Somebody else never knew that that's something that you have to do. They might think it's like the most interesting thing in the world. But yeah, just like little posts. It could be a picture, it could be a video if you want to make like a reel and just do like a compilation of you kind of like going through the day. I think that's something that's very popular, especially on platforms like TikTok and like Instagram and Facebook Reels. It's always fun. People always want to know like what you're up to, even if you don't want to admit it. It's always fun to see what people kind of do on that day-to-day basis. I've also seen some of those like realtor social media challenges. So there's like, it's like usually like a calendar and it gives you like a topic or an idea of something to post for like every day of that month. I know there's a few title companies that probably if you ask, chances are they're going to have one like that. Or you could even go on Google or like Pinterest or something and just type like real estate social media post ideas. You're going to find. So it could be something as easy as that, where you just kind of follow along like a set schedule. Or again, it could be something where you're getting help from your title company. There's tons of resources. You guys have ton on Command as well if you use the Command designs. And now, I don't know if you guys have heard already, but we do have a partnership coming up with Canva, hopefully to be released by Q3, we will see. But that's going to bring even more content in, you know, things for you to be able to post about your business. So we're going to go on to the next one. Yeah. And with the 80/20, there's also, if you want to go above and beyond, get that extra credit, we'll add an extra 10%. This is going to be the community service part. So things to think about it. Red Day is kind of like all three. But to really go over the top, you want to give that 110 and be the real estate expert of choice. So, you know, consider making about like 10% of your posts kind of like public service or crossover posts, where it's information that you know or that you have resources that would be helpful for others to know about and share as well. It's a really good way to kind of be active in your community and inform the people in your database and your sphere of important public service updates that is relevant to them. So examples could be like any property tax increases. Maybe there's a school closure, if it's like a snow day or something. I think here, I think it was for today, apparently like the Portland schools are closing at 3 p.m. because it's supposed to be super hot today. That's something I did not know until one of our agents came in and was talking to me about it. So it's things like that where not everyone is reading the same things or watching the same things that you are. So if you find it of importance, chances are it could probably be important to somebody else too. This is especially true in times of challenge or crisis. I know, I think it was last year, probably like around February, we had a lot of basically like an ice storm. There was a lot of ice. People weren't really able to leave their house for, you know, you don't want to drive when there's a ton of ice. It's really scary. And we actually had some agents in our office that they had, what are they called? The snow tires, like the ones with the treads or the chains. And they were able to drive around. So they offered to help their clients in their database by saying, hey, if you need something, you know, if you're running low on food, water, I know a lot of people were without power, so they didn't even have heat. They were out there, you know, getting these resources to their clients and to their database to help them through this time of challenge when they couldn't leave their home. And it wasn't something that, you know, they did with in mind, hey, I'm going to get business from that. Like, that's not the reason they did it. The reason they did it is to genuinely help the people that they know and love and care for. But the result is, chances are, it's going to build that relationship a lot better. If someone sees, you know, that you're willing to help them in the time of need, they're going to have a lot better connection with you. And hopefully, chances are that when it comes to the time that they want to buy or sell, they're going to think, hey, this person had my best interests in mind when I was going through this time. Chances are they would help me through another, you know, process of buying. So it's good to, you know, be active in your community and be able to help people when you can, and share those resources and public service announcements that not everyone knows right away. You can also do things like, you know, fun stuff. There's upcoming events. We've mentioned the Lavender Festival. I think that's a super awesome example. I always feel like, especially fall time, I feel like there's so many events that are going on. It's always a really great time to do that. Even with summer, I feel like summer would be a great one for maybe like public pool hours. You know, people want to get out of the heat. They want to go swim. Maybe any popular beaches or rivers, things like that. Just think of, you know, what do you like to do in the summer? And how can you help share that with other people who are probably wanting to do the same things you are? And then maybe some other examples of helpful information you could give would be things like tips for maybe home maintenance. I see sometimes agents will post, especially in like the springtime and again, like in the winter, kind of like home maintenance tips on spring cleaning. And then in the winter, tips on how to help get ready for like the cold weather and the things you have to do for your house to maintain. So just little things like that. Again, it doesn't have to be something like a super major crazy announcement. It could be just little things that people need reminders of. Because again, it's not like we have these tips in front of our face like all day, every day, and we know, oh yeah, I have to do this every single time. It's always nice to get a reminder. So just think of how you can impact your community, as big or small as it is. So we're going to go over a few more ahas before we go on. But we talked about the 10-5-1 engagement and the 80-20 posting practice. So out of those two, what's one new thing that you guys have learned today?
What's the what?
Just one new thing you've learned so far.
I kind of like the idea of maybe when you're saying give tips on your home. I think that maybe kind of do something on people when you go on vacation. Don't give the dates and don't let people know that your home is going to be empty. Because I don't think people think about that sometimes.
Yeah, that's actually a really good one. I think, yeah, I definitely know a lot of people who post all the time like, oh, I'm on a plane and I'm leaving today and I'm not coming back for like 2 weeks. So yeah, that's actually really good. I didn't even think about that. We have another example that we want to share of just something new that you learned.
I would say just a good reminder of like how instrumental social media can be, especially for generating leads and, you know, that type of thing. And just a good reminder for someone like me that doesn't post a whole lot to start doing so.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, I think that's kind of the point of this class today is really, you don't have to be someone that posts every single day, but you do have to be active, and it is something that you kind of build up. If you want to get something out of social media, you have to be putting effort into it as well. Kind of goes for everything, but I think social media is a little bit easier in the sense that you only really have to like, you can literally just scroll through your feed, like the first 10 pictures, comment on the last one, and then post a picture of like the sunset. And that's already like basically what we went over today. You just want to get started, get something out there. And then the more you kind of do it, the easier it becomes and almost the more natural it is, where you're going out and you're at a concert this weekend. You're just like, oh, I'm going to just post a picture, like a quick little video. And it doesn't have to be something like super thought out. It can be fun and spontaneous. And I think that's even better in the sense where that's where the authenticity really comes from. You're not like curating your posts as much as just being who you are. So thank you.
I do have another question.
Yeah.
It does that we have to create a Facebook business one.
For
And I have not done, I don't know about it. Sorry.
No worries, again, good question. For if you want to connect it into Command, so connecting it into Command will let you schedule out your posts. So let's say I have an event this weekend, but I don't want to be up at like 9 a.m. to post something. I can schedule it out today so that it goes out at 9 a.m. on Saturday. But in order to connect your Facebook and Instagram account to Command, they do have to be business profiles. And that's just for like a compliance reason on Facebook's end. They don't really allow any third-party integrations unless it's a business profile, which you can do if you have the already Facebook page or Facebook profile. All you would do is create a page, and then it gives you option to do like a business page. And then I know with Instagram, that one is like a different toggle. It'll be the one profile, but you would switch it over to a business profile, or you could just create a brand new one. Great question. If you need help with that too, you can always let your agent services, market center, tech trainer personnel, so whoever's at your front desk in your market center, or I'm also going to plug this in. We have a market center tech trainer office hours every Thursday at noon on Zoom. So if you guys ever have specific questions or just want to learn something, feel free to join. It's me and all the other tech trainers on there. We love when you guys pop in. We've helped quite a few people set up their business profiles. So it's something we're super familiar with and happy to help with.
So you said when was that?
Every Thursday at noon.
Thursday at noon, thank you.
Yeah. Mitch, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I was going to touch on the business page thing for just a second. A lot of people that I've asked say they don't make a separate page just because like all your personal, like your Saphir is already there and all your, all your friends and everything are already there. So they kind of just use their personal. Does that make sense? Is that something that like most people do? I guess it could go both ways, but like since your people are already there, it made sense to me not to make a business page.
I do see the benefits in both for sure. Kind of like you said, yeah, you have everyone on there already. Although I think personally, if I were to like go active in real estate, I would probably make a business page just so it's an extra something that if people see me on there, it says like Oregon Realtor. And it has my brokerage, it has my email, my phone number, things like that. Because on the personal side, it doesn't really post your email or phone. Whereas if it's a business page, you can put that out there. You can put your website. And then it also gives you a chance to share that business page from your personal page. So if you're someone who maybe you're a little shy and you don't want to do just a post saying, hey, I'm a real estate agent, you could just be like, hey guys, check out my new business page. Like, I'm a realtor, it gives you like an extra excuse to kind of put that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I think I recommend it usually. But when it comes to Instagram, I think that's where I don't really have a preference. I feel like it's fine to have just a personal Instagram. But I think for Facebook, I think it's good to have both. But again, it's really up to you and, your audience. How much are you going to use it? Because again, yeah, if you're not going to use it that much, then you're probably fine just off with the personal page.
As a
I like the
parent,
compliance. You don't have to worry so much about it.
Mhm.
I was just saying, as a parent, I wouldn't put, I'm pretty careful about who I let on my personal page. So I like the business page because I can keep anybody that I'm not, anybody can look at your business page. Whereas your personal, they have to be friends if that's how it's set up. So I'm really careful just for security with kids and stuff. So I like the business page for that aspect.
That's a really good point as well. Definitely, yeah. You might post something different on your personal where it's just like your friends and family versus your business where you could still be posting personal things, but it probably won't be as private information type thing. So great point. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next part, which is going to be our social media strategies. But just to recap real quick, again, we went over our 10-5-1 engagement. So you kind of know how often you should be posting, liking, and commenting on people's posts. And we're going to go into some more strategies to employ when increasing your engagement on social media. So yeah, if you're like most people and you use social media every day, kind of think of it as almost like 365 touch system. So you're constantly in contact with the people that you follow. Obviously, there are many different social media sites, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I know YouTube is really popular, especially with video. And because of that, there's going to be different strategies for different platforms. But just because it's available doesn't mean you have to have an account on every single platform. You really want to focus on like 2, maybe 3 platforms that you already like to use and just kind of grow that. It's a lot better to be maybe only have like a Facebook page rather than have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Snapchat, all these things if you're not going to post on any of them. So it's just focus on those 1 or 2, maybe 3, and just start there. So before we go to the next slide, I have 2 questions. We'll go with the first one first. But I want to ask, what is your favorite social media platform to actually use? So which one do you find yourself opening up the most?
I use Facebook 99.9% of the time. I have an Instagram account, but I've never really gotten into it. So I'm most comfortable with Facebook. And then I have we have a farm, so I'm super familiar with the business profile side, the meta side of it because of that. So that's my go-to.
For me, Instagram would be my top choice. I scroll Facebook, but I don't ever like interact or a whole lot on there. So I'd say Instagram for sure.
And do you have, is it the same platform for you that's your favorite one to post content on, or only to?
Yeah, Instagram. I try to do like if I'm gonna do a story, I'll try to put it to both my Instagram and Facebook, but 90% of the time I'm in Instagram and I'm posting a story in my Instagram first.
Yeah. Cool. And that kind of goes off to that some of these are even connected. It makes it that much easier.
Yeah.
So, like you mentioned with Facebook and Instagram, they're both part Meta, so it's kind of post on one and it gives you the option to post automatically on the other ones. So even if maybe, because I'm kind of in the same boat, I love Instagram. I'm more of that, whereas I don't really use Facebook that much, but I'll do like the post to Facebook type of thing when it gives me the option of Instagram. So I think take advantage of the easy things while it's there. And then my other question was, and maybe this kind of goes off of what Emily, you were mentioning earlier in the very beginning of the call. What ideas on social media have worked for you, or have you seen that have worked for others? So maybe like types of content.
I think we just need to do what's comfortable for us. So if you try to be something that you're not, it looks forced. So the people that I see that have success are just being them. And then kind of the real estate just kind of flows into that. And so I think if we just use our personality already and just incorporate real estate into that, we'll be better off for it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I would agree with that. Anything authentic, I think, is what I see that where people are succeeding in, like making reels or TikToks or
Mhm.
just, you know, being themselves.
Authentic was the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Yeah. So you guys already see it then, and it's something that you just kind of have to build that comfortability and like that confidence to be able to just post like things about you. And kind of like you said, it was something that they probably didn't think a ton of time. It's just who they are. They just like posted something about what they were doing. It wasn't something like super catered where they like spent a ton of time editing it. And I mean, maybe that's you, maybe that is you, and that's another story. But you know, chances are most people are just kind of posting as they go about their day. And I like too how much you touched on the reels and the videos. That's also a super big form of content right now. I think videos oftentimes do better than just a picture, just because it's easy. They're really promoting the reels on Instagram and Facebook, so that's something that if you do want more engagement, those platforms will reward you for posting video content.
Yeah, because and like with so people could see it. I feel like it reaches more people than just like a picture on your personal page.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely one of those things where even if you're not like the best person at making reels, just post like a quick video. It could be a one-shot video that you just do a recording and just post it as a reel. That's something I myself am trying to kind of work on, you know, making like reels and doing just like short video clips here and there. And it's something that I've definitely had to train myself instead of doing like a really long video, just like a short snippet of, I don't know, like the sunset, a concert, whatever, and then just kind of putting all together. So now we're going to go into the next slide. So we kind of talked a little bit already about this, but you want to be able to connect with people that you know or who have met in one way, shape, or form. I think it's super easy with social media just to send a friend request, even if it's someone you haven't talked to in like years. If they look familiar to you or you recognize them from somewhere, just send them a friend request. Like most of the time, they're gonna accept you, and if they don't, like it's fine. At least you tried, you know. And if anything, it brought you up in their feed. They saw that you tried to request them, so it made them think about it. And if they do follow you back, or if they do allow you to follow them, chances are they're going to follow you back. So that helps, again, with your engagement, growing your page, things like that. I know on Facebook, it has oftentimes those like little bars where it shows like, oh, people you might know. Or if you go to someone's page, for example, it shows you who you have mutual friends with. I think that's always a really good and easy way to kind of start looking for people in your network or people that you've known from prior like organizations or maybe like college or high school or whatever. So definitely take advantage of that. I would go through it and just kind of scroll and see if I know you or you sound familiar. I'm just gonna like send you a follow request. And then on Instagram, I think it has the same thing. It has like people they suggest for you to follow. And then you can also see as well any mutual followers that you have in common. But again, I would just go click on the followers, scroll through, just add anyone that you think you know. It's also good to post about your neighborhood. Doesn't have to be like specifically the block you're living on, but things that are happening around. So if you have like, I know one thing here, there's a new Jollibee that just opened up in Hillsborough, and it's like a few blocks away from where I live. So that would be something if I were a real estate agent to be like, hey, like this place just opened, you know, if you're thinking of moving around here, there's a new Jollibee. Just things that are happening in your neighborhood. Also, yeah, post a picture, use video content, do things like that. I'm sure a lot of you have seen posts of agents that congratulate their new buyers for just buying the house. That's super exciting, not only for your clients, but it's exciting for you as well, because it shows that you're doing business, you're out there doing the things. So it's a win-win for everyone. It's a really good one to share. Also about listings, yeah, post any new listings, ask agents if you can share their listings. And most important thing is to engage. So use your 10-5-1, 80-20, but make sure you're doing all that and engaging. That's the most important part, because if the platforms and the algorithms see that you're spending time on the platform and you're actually using it, they're going to reward you by promoting your content to more users. So now we're going to talk about how you can highlight your business. You kind of want to think about, similar to what we just talked about with the neighborhood information, think about where you want to be doing business and how you can help promote that to your sphere and the people that follow you. So if, again, like I'm in Hillsborough area, if I want to be doing business in this area, I should be posting things about Hillsborough. I should be posting upcoming events in Hillsborough. I should be posting the new businesses. I should be posting the new, I don't know, things that are happening with Hillsborough City. Just think about where you want to be, post about that so that you can attract the people that want to be where you are. It's also good to keep your current and potential customers aware of the latest market trends in, you know, the area that you want to be working in. So that way it kind of positions you as an expert while also providing valuable information to your audience. So one tool we have as part of our network is actually called Area Pro. Are you guys familiar with Area Pro already? Yeah, you know, it's okay, cool. It's basically where you can go to get.
I don't know how to use it very well. I was just gonna say I don't know how to use it very well yet, but I have access to it for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely new. And I know for that they used to have like a weekly Zoom, but now they have monthly Zooms. So every month they have like a workshop where they go over like a different topic. But on their support page as well, they have recordings from the past workshops that they've had. So that might be a good thing to check out. I'm not insanely familiar with it either. I just kind of know how to like look up a place and kind of play around with it a little bit. But it's definitely good information, especially if you have a client that is very like numbers oriented and they want to see kind of like the data and like how the numbers line up. But I also think it's a great way to have just like a social media post. You can just make like a quick little template, just add, here are the numbers for this week in this neighborhood. And again, it doesn't have to be anything super fancy, just copy and paste the numbers and there you go. You could even take a screenshot if you really want to just do that, just have something out. But it helps, you know, show your audience and your clients that you're knowledgeable about what's going on in the market. It's also good to utilize tech development. So, for example, we have the KW app, and that makes it really easy to share a business card, for example. There's a digital business card on the app that all you do is click on it. It pulls up like a QR code that has your name and your phone number and email. So that way, if you're out and about and someone wants to get your information really quick, there you go. I always say too with that though, ask for their information first. That way you have their information on your phone and then you can show them the QR code for your information. It just makes it a little bit easier. And that way it ensures that you get their information too. There's also the KW agent sites. If you guys haven't kind of played around with that yet, as part of onboarding, everyone gets an agent website, and it's pretty much like good to go just from the get-go. You just have it named, it's ready to go. But you can spend time customizing it and adding, you know, certain pages that you think would be valuable for you or your clients. They have ones like a mortgage calculator. You can add preferred vendors on there. There's even like a home valuation tool. So if someone's thinking of selling or they just want to see, you know, how much is my home worth, they can plug in their information into that and it'll give them like a rough estimate of possibly what it's worth. The point of that is to hopefully, you know, you'll get a notification saying that they submitted this information. And it gives you that chance to hopefully reach out to them and be like, hey, I saw you just used this tool on my website. I just want to reach out, see if we can set an appointment, see if I can get you much more accurate number of, you know, what your home is actually worth, or, you know, things like that. So utilize the tech, but also make it personable, you know, reach out to the people when you see them actually using it. And then the last thing on here is to post your client testimony. You know, don't be afraid. It's something to share and be proud of, you know. Sometimes people get a little shy. They're like, well, I don't want to brag and everything. And it's not you bragging. You're just sharing what other people are telling, you know, the story that they're telling about it. It's really important, especially to your business, because, you know, word of mouth recommendations really hold a lot, especially in the real estate industry. And it's a great way to highlight someone's positive experience that they had with you and help promote that and put a light on it so that other people can see that and, you know, have that good view of you, especially if it's someone that they happen to know. In general, you know, it's great for referrals, building your authenticity, showing that not only are you doing the business, you've helped this client, but you also did a great job at it. That's really important to always share. I also like to add a side note that for, let's say you're just starting up and you don't really have any client testimonials yet. A really easy way to kind of get that going is to add some to your agent website, or you could even create a Google My Business account and you can get some of those reviews on there as well. But if you don't have any previous clients, reach out to your close family and friends and past coworkers, people that you've worked with, and just have them write a review on, you know, your character and things that you've done in the past. Like, it doesn't have to be like, don't have them lie, obviously. Don't have them say like, oh, they helped me like buy this house. Don't say that. But they could say things like, oh yeah, like Emily's such a hard worker. She really like fought for me in this project that we were working on, or whatever, you know. Have them talk about your characteristics as a person and who you are and how you really vouch for them, how they really trust you, how you're very communicative with them. Basically all of your good qualities. Just have them talk about that. And then that way, even if, you know, you haven't done that transaction yet, people can still see what traits and characteristics you have that they would want to work with.
So I've seen people that post reviews, but sounds silly. How does someone do that? Like, do you just go to Google and then, because I'll see Google review or so-and-so was so great, blah, blah, blah. So what you're just saying, how do you go about doing that?
Yeah. So the Google one, usually it's called Google My Business. So if you just Google that, it'll let you create a profile. And basically a Google My Business profile is that thing that pops up on Google search when you search, like, let's say you search a coffee shop, and you search it by name, and then it pops up on the side where it has like that picture and it has the hours, it has the website, maybe like picture, like the menu, stuff like that. That's a Google My Business profile, that whole like little bit. So basically you can make one for yourself. You can make one as like a real estate agent. So you can add your contact information, your website. It'll have that section for pictures and reviews as well. So once that's created, you can go ahead and share that link to other people so that they can go and post that review on there.
So you send them a link and then they post it through that
Mhm.
website or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Thank you.
There's also on the agent sites too, there's like a testimonials page. So you can have people just post it on your website. Or I know another thing agents do too is they'll have people post it on the Google My Business, so like the actual Google page, and then they'll go and just copy and paste that to their website. So that way, instead of having people, fill out 2 different forms, that's a lot of work. They just have them do the Google one, and then they just copy paste it to their personal page. So along with the reviews, even if somebody doesn't want to write like an actual like full-blown review, you can still, take a picture of them, take a picture of, your happy clients. Obviously, if they give permission, you've seen those pictures of the new buyers that are holding that like giant key of, for the title company that they just bought with. Or maybe they're under your listing sign with like the sold sticker. Just like those, moments that are like signify the end of the transaction, and just showing like how happy people are. And again, even if they don't want to post that for review on there, you can still always get like a little quote for them, usually, even if it's like a text or something. You can just like highlight, oh, this is a great thing that somebody said about me in a text. But get their permission, especially if it's a picture of like their face or something that they're in, before you post. So the next strategy that we have is to not post and ghost. I kind of I feel like it rhymes, so it makes it a little fun. But basically, just make sure that when you post something that you follow up and you answer any questions, or follow up with any comments that people have left. So you think about it, if someone else took the time to sit there and comment on your picture or video, you should take the time to reply back. Or even if it's just as simple as like, I know on like Facebook or Instagram, you can click like a little heart, or you can leave like a little reaction. Even something like that, just to show that you saw the comment and you saw that they posted something on your page. And if it is a longer comment that somebody sent you, consider private messaging them back. Send them a DM, or you could even send them like a text on the side. Just be like, hey, like I saw you posted on, or you left a comment on my post. And then kind of like explain, maybe it was a question they asked, or maybe they wanted to reach out to check in with you. Just make sure, you're not just letting people comment and you're not engaging with them at all. Because if you do that, they're just going to stop engaging altogether.
Can I ask you a question on that?
Yeah.
So you have to like, if you like a comment like on their main part, but then you go in it and then all of a sudden you got 10 comments underneath that. Do you have to go in and like every one of them, or how'd it work?
I would like the original one probably. If it's something where like it's like if 2 people, like you're talking about 2 people talking like to each other.
Well, like sometimes I just noticed that somebody liked something I posted. I put, oh, thank you, and then I like it, and then all of a sudden I got 10 or 15 answers I need to, or 10 different people that have liked or posted something on it. And so my question is, if I post on the main one, does that send them all the thank you, or do I have to go to each individual?
You would have to go to each. So I'm thinking like if it's your birthday,
Okay.
for example, and like someone says, "Oh, happy birthday," like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
In that case, I would.
And then all of a
at
sudden,
least,
people are
like,
clicking it.
I would at least go through and like the comment.
Okay.
Because I think
Okay.
even if it's just like a like, that means that they know that you saw it.
Okay. Yeah, that's where I failed. It's like, oi.
Yeah, because commenting to all of that is a lot. But at least like you just want to show acknowledgement. You want to see that you saw their comment and you know you're happy about it. But yeah, I mean that's also an example of like a great post. You know, if you have a post that people find valuable or they're excited to see in general, it's going to build like a steady stream of engagement. So you're going to have comments and likes and shares that maybe they don't come in that first hour, but they're going to come like in the days to follow. That's why I know Facebook and Instagram, they used to have like a chronological timeline, but now it's more based on engagement. So oftentimes you're getting posts on your feed. Some might be pretty recent, but as you kind of go through, you start to get posts from like a few days ago or like a week ago. And it's just showing those again to hopefully help get those more engagement, but also those posts that it's showing you probably had a good stream of engagement to begin with. And so they think, well, even though it's a few days old, it might still be valuable for people. So you want to encourage people to like and comment. And in order to do that, you have to acknowledge that they liked and commented. You know, the more participants that engage in social media on your platform, the more you'll be engaged with by this. So if you're spending time to do this, chances are they're good. Yeah, it's pretty much just an algorithm thing. It's not even just like, oh, I'm gonna like all these people's posts just to hope that they like mine back. Instagram and Facebook and all these other social media platforms will actually share your post more to outside people as well if they see a lot of people are engaging with it. Because again, if they see that a lot of people are engaging, chances are the post is valuable or informative or something that people want to see. So they're going to reward you by sharing it to more people more often. And in turn, that hopefully gets you to use their platform then. So yeah. Basically, when people interact on your post, it tells the algorithms like Mind that this is good. We should share this more often. And not only post, but your whole profile as well. Your actual profile will come up as a suggested profile for more people more often if you have a lot of engagement. Then we're going to go to add value. So you want to be able to participate in online communities where you offer a unique and valuable perspective. This could be a bunch of different ways, but it's important to find communities that you're already a part of, or ones that you're interested in getting to be a part of that you can add value. Give your 2 cents. There's things like Facebook groups and communities. You can literally offer value to like hundreds of thousands of people if it's like a really big Facebook group. It's important to find the right communities that resonate with you, that you're passionate about. And it might take some time to find, we're using like the Facebook group example. It might take a bit to find a Facebook group that like really resonates with you, whether it's like maybe you're joining a few really big ones about, I know I talked about fishing earlier. I don't know why I'm using an example, but let's say you're really into fishing and you find like a fishing group that's near you and they just have like a bunch of tips on like when the best fish are in season or like what's the best time to show up or where they buy the best hooks and bait and stuff like that. It could be like a really big group, or it could be a smaller one that's focused on just like a certain river or lake in your area that you frequent. You're going to want to make sure that you're kind of in both of those types of group, the bigger overarching ones, and as well as the more niche ones. Just because, you know, chances are there's going to be people that are in both as well, but there's still going to be different groups as well. So who wants to share one online community you're already a part of? So it could be like a Facebook group. I think those are the big ones, Facebook groups. So is anyone part of a Facebook group already?
I have quite a few. I have Save the Bees. Let's see. I have quite a few on there. So it's gardening and flowers and we also just had one that was a garden where we garden, go look at all the people's gardens in the community.
Mm-hmm.
So those are kind of the ones I'm involved in.
That sounds fun. That's a really good idea. Do you have any other Facebook groups people are part of or wanting to be a part of?
We have multiple, I'm in a really small rural area, but we still have there's probably 3 group pages, all just kind of within 2 zip codes. So I'm a part of all of those, which is big.
Oh, yeah. It's important to know, like, yeah, what your community is a part of, and you want to find the people where they're at. So you want to join those groups that you know, the people that you want to work with are in. So it's a good point for sure. I think, yeah, Facebook groups are probably one of the easiest like online communities to find. But there's also things like, I know for each of the market centers, we have a Google distribution group. So that one's like an email group where you can share updates and things. There's also, going back to Facebook groups, you know, there's the ones where it's like more of an interest. So like we talked about saving the bees and gardening. And then we also talked about like the neighborhood specific ones. There's also like real estate specific ones. So I've seen a few where it's like, oh, I forgot exactly what it's called, but it's basically a Facebook group for people who are new to the area. So it kind of shares, you know, popular, you know, food spots, maybe popular nightlife things or venues. I feel like those are always really valuable, especially if it's someone who maybe they're not ready to take the move yet, but it's something that you can add them. Like if someone says, hey, I want to move to this area. And if you're in the Facebook group being like, okay, I can add you to this just so you can kind of see like what it's like, get a look at the actual neighborhood and if it is somewhere you would want. And again, you know, once they do make that move, then they're already in there. They're already familiar with it and they kind of know like a lot of the happenings and what's going on.
It's a good idea.
Yeah. It also makes it super awesome if you happen to be the only real estate agent in there, but you know, chances are there's going to be a lot in there as well. But again, it's something that you just want to show who you are as a person, because not everyone is going to be able to work with you. Like you all know that you want to work with people that, you know, get along with you and help hopefully make the transaction a lot easier. So it's good to, you know, put yourself out there and attract those people that have those same values. Right. So let's go over real quick. We're going to make kind of like an example social media post. So we're going to brainstorm together. It could be, okay, do we want to do a business or a personal? Just like,
Let's do a business post if you don't have a listing to share.
do anyone want to go off of that first? Any ideas?
You want us to create one? Is that what we're trying to do?
Just like brainstorming.
Okay. Let's do one maybe like on, like where I live, we have a lot of issues with fires. So maybe we could do a post on, hey, you know, summer's here or around, you know, the corner. As you know, we have smoke problems, so here's how to prevent fires or something. Put Smokey the Bear in there or something,
There you go.
next to a beautiful home that you want to sell or do an open house or something.
Yeah. That would be cool. Really good, good example. So, we could have, yeah, do like kind of like a PSA type of post. I like that. That could be like the personal one. And then like Emily said, our business one could be that if we don't have a listing, just I'm sharing somebody else's list. And still having content without having to create everything ourselves. So those are two really good ones to kind of touch on both the personal and business. We have like one of each. So that already gives you guys ideas of something that you could add today. Yeah. Even if it's something like, I'm trying to think, super, super simple. Let's say we don't want to even make a graphic. We just want to like take a picture of something. If we go off of the summer post, for example, you could literally just take a picture of the outside and be like, hey, it's a really hot day today. And just put like a caption or I know in like the stories, you can put like the text over the picture. Just put like quick tip, make sure you're ready for the summer season, and then have your tip there about how to prevent house fires or anything. So I think those are good ideas. So let's go on to the next one. Well, that was our house. We can skip that. But we're going to go over a few more strategies before we're done. And this part, I feel like this is our word of the day, is authentic. You know, you want to stay true to yourself. And just think of social media as kind of an extension of you. A lot of times I feel like, you know, social media is kind of like that highlight reel of people's best selves. And it's a lot easier to post, you know, when you're doing really good at something, or when you're having like the best day ever, or when you're out and about and like having fun. But it's really important to also add in a few, you know, like real situations every once in a while. So it doesn't have to be something that's extremely personal to you. But even if it's like something you're struggling with a little bit, or it could be something as simple as like asking for help or asking for opinions from people. I know a lot of times I'll see, especially like in each market center has like a Facebook mastermind group just for the office. You'll see agents who post like, hey, does anyone have a vendor for, or maybe does anyone have an electrician, for example? That could even be something you post on your public page, just saying, you know, it's kind of like asking for help. You're reaching out to people to see their advice and if they have something that could help you. And it's good to be real in those situations, just to see how people respond to it. Chances are, you know, I think most people are wired to where you want to help the next person. So if you see something like that and you have a bit of knowledge, maybe you have an electrician or that you've worked with in the past that like you really love and could vouch for, that's super easy just to go ahead and comment that real quick. Or send them a text on the side and be like, hey, I saw your post. Here's the person I used. So just, you know, don't be afraid to post something challenging in your life, or ask for help. I think it's really good to do that. And it shows, again, over the day, it shows you're being authentic and you're who you are. You're not hiding behind the screen pretty much. And you're not, you know, claiming to be this know-all person. You're human And that's what other people are really going to resonate with. We also have don't be a jack of all trades. So that kind of goes back to the idea that um, you want to use like 1 or 2 platforms that actually work for you, that you're actually going to use. Because, you know, the best social media platform is literally the one that you're going to use. If you're not going to use it, there's no point in using it. Or even trying to, really. Because if you're already like really stuck, like I just do not like this one platform, but I love this platform, you could spend the time getting to learn the other one if that's something that's really important to you. But chances are it's probably better to just invest your time and effort into this one platform and have your success grow through there. Then if it's something that, you know, at that point, maybe you do like social media in general and you can just post on different platforms as well. But it's better to be, you know, that master of one platform first. Also embrace video. Don't be afraid to. You know, it's kind of scary sometimes, just like, you know, recording yourself and just talking to your phone, especially if you're like out in public, or even if you're not used to it, even just like being in your room alone and talking to yourself through the phone. Just push past that stage fright. And, you know, it doesn't have to be like a 5-minute long video. It could be like a 10-second video. It's actually probably better that it's like a 10-second video. You'll probably get more engagement, more views out of it. And it could even be maybe you don't love showing your face. It could still be maybe you're out and about, you're recording, and you're just narrating. Or maybe you just start with pictures, even if you don't want to do the videos of yourself. Or it could be, again, videos of just what you do. There doesn't even have to be your voice audio. It could be like a media sound. But video is definitely one of those parts of social media that is really big right now. Not only with people engaging in videos, but also the platforms promoting videos, pushing those out a lot. So getting those videos out gives you a lot better chance to have your platform shared. We also have number 4 is to use analytics to optimize your posts. We didn't really get into analytics in this one. That's probably a whole nother class. But I know with Instagram business, for sure, I've seen it. They have actual like insights on there. And Facebook does too, but that's a little bit different to get to. But they actually have information on your followers. It'll tell you kind of like the gender ratio. So it'll tell you like how many male versus like female followers you have. It'll tell you the age range of the followers that you have as well. So it'll tell you that maybe you're catering more towards a certain demographic rather than the other. It'll tell you even like some of the other interests that your audience has. So it'll tell you like what other like hashtags or accounts like they're following. It also tells you like the best time to post, because it'll tell you when they're most active, like both date and so like day of the week. Maybe you have a lot of followers that are on like Tuesday nights and Wednesday nights, but on Friday nights like no one's looking at it. So those are always good to kind of look at, analyze. It tells you a lot, not just about people who are already following you, but it tells you, you know, what kind of people are interested in you. So hopefully you take that and, you know, implement it in your business to where you try to figure out, am I reaching the people I want to be? And if not, maybe I need to change my strategy. Maybe I need to do a little bit more of these types of posts. We also have, kind of like I said in the beginning, be authentic, ask for help, whether it's in a post or, you know, asking your coach, asking your tech trainers. I know in Command, there's a bunch of playbooks. I'm sure you guys are familiar with those. There's literally a social media playbook where you can go and it probably goes over everything we just did, and some. So definitely check that out, just for more, help and tips on how to really get started with social media. YouTube's also a really great resource. I feel like I've learned so many things from YouTube, so I will always like vouch for it. But you can see what others have done before. And if you have an idea of maybe you've seen a type of post somebody did and you want to learn, hey, how do they do that? Like maybe you really want to start getting into reels, but you don't know where to start. There's probably a YouTube video explaining you how to create a reel, how to get started, how to do something super simple, and how to do something like way more advanced. So you can kind of start, do that. And I always encourage people to just kind of like play around with it. Even if it's like a test reel you're just doing for fun. Like, who cares? Post it. Like, worst thing, if you don't want to have it out there, just delete it after. Like, it's fine. Like, no one's going to judge you for that. It's just going to show you're more authentic and you're willing to try things and you're not scared to put yourself out there. I feel like people really admire. So now we're going to do a recap. We went over our 10-5-1 engagement system. So that's our 10 likes, our 5 comments, and then our 1 original post, DM, or share. We also talked about our 80-20 principle, so here, where we have 80% of our posts being a personal post with 20% being business. And if you really want to go above and beyond, we have that extra 10% of community service type posts, whether it's something that you're helping out in your community or maybe you're sharing information about your community. And then we kind of went over our social media strategies. So, don't post and ghost. Make sure that you're posting something and following up. It doesn't have to be like you're following up like the minute every time somebody comments something. But set aside some time, maybe later in that evening, that day, or the next day, where you go on and spend like 10 minutes, just like liking or replying to comments. I think that's always good. You want to be able to add value. So share posts that other people can learn things from or enjoy something that's, even if it's something funny or just something new that somebody might not have. And yeah, highlight your business. So do that through the things that you post, the way you interact with other people, highlight all of that. And then I think we're on to ahas. Okay. Do we have any last ahas now that we kind of went over everything? What's something new that maybe you want to implement starting today?
I think you really reiterated what we've been hearing in all these classes, which is always helpful that everybody's telling us the same thing. So just encouraging us to keep at it and don't be afraid, like when you don't know what you're doing, to reach out. So I appreciate that about what you said today. So I think that just is more motivation going forward.
I'm glad to hear it.
I also like the fact that you said that we can look to see when people are looking at our stuff, because I haven't been paying attention to that. So I like that idea.
Yeah, I know. When I found that out, I was like playing around in because I have the Instagram business profile for our market center. Let me see if I can show it.
Another thing I've noticed is that I pay attention to is because it'll say like so-and-so requested a friend request, and then it'll say like 5 hours ago, but then they're not matching with anybody I know. So I'm always a little bit leery of those,
Yeah.
of accepting those friendships.
Yeah, sometimes it's like they're like bot accounts or just like random pages. And you don't have to accept everyone that, requests you. It's really up to your discretion. And if anything, if you do accept them and you realize later on you don't, you can also like just remove them. Usually if I just like block, I think if you block someone, it'll have them unfollow you, and then you can always like unblock them, and they can request to follow you later.
It's always it's hard to know if you're going to offend somebody. So what I've been doing is I've just been kind of like ignoring them for a week or so. And then once I realize, oh, they're legit.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to know.
Yeah, that happens sometimes too. But yeah, just be safe. It's your profile. It's up to your discretion. So never feel bad about that. But I'm gonna show you real quick on Instagram. So this is what is this from? This is from our followers, and it'll show you like you can change the time range. So here it says last 30 days. I know it's backwards. But it'll show like the gender makeup. So the type of people that liked the posts on our profile. And then here is where it's that most active times. So you can see, it looks like weekdays are very popular. A lot of the people that we have on our profile tend to be active on the weekdays, whereas kind of that Sunday, Monday, they're not on there as much. So that just gives
And
me an
that's it.
indicator
Is this
that
one?
this is the Instagram business.
Instagram business. Oh, that's cool.
You just go to settings, and then it has, so the business will have this for professional section, and you just click on insights, and that's where it has
Okay.
like all the information. It'll tell you like views, interactions, followers, content shared, so on.
Sweet.
And Facebook has something similar too. But yeah, that's definitely something to check into. Because in general, you could like search on Google like best times to post. But if you want to get even more detailed and see what the people you have specifically, what your audience is actually active, that's when you can cater to them as well. Yeah. Any last ahas before we close out? We're good. All right. This is the end, but I want to thank you guys for participating and following along. And yeah, I'm happy to hear all the new things you learned and that we're able to reinforce as we kind of go throughout all these classes. But again, yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm at Sunset Corridor, but I kind of work with all the market centers. I help with the network. So you can always find me again on the Tech Trainer office hours every Thursday at noon. Or you can reach out to your agent services / market center tech trainer if you have any specific questions as well. But thank you guys again, and I hope you're ready to capture more leads on Wednesday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good one.
Thank you.